Nikolai's POV. I frowned as I saw Stefan march into my quarters, bowing a little as he faced me. I hated to be disturbed, especially by this time. But I knew that for him to be here, it had to be urgent. Alpha, Stefan bowed again. I have news I think you'll find interesting. I cocked an eyebrow, my breath suddenly hitching. I knew it could only be one thing. For years, I had waited each weekend hoping he would return with positive news, or at least a vital piece of information that would be beneficial to my plans. And with the glint in his eyes, this time around, I was sure something had finally clicked. Stefan was the scout of the pack, and also the spy I had given the task of keeping a close eye on Jonas Verbeck and his family. Spill it, I ordered, my mind running 1,000 miles per minute. Verbeck is making plans to organize a massive festive celebration at the pack by hosting different packs and also popular figures in the country. I bowed my head thoughtfully, calculating every possible downside. What kind of celebration is this? It's a masquerade party to commemorate his dominance in the world of wolves and to celebrate the success of his second daughter, Barbara. This is the perfect opportunity, Alpha. I nodded. He was right. When is the celebration supposed to hold? The next full moon, he answered without missing a beat. All right. You're dismissed, I stated, waving him off. I needed to go through the entire plan again to eliminate any moves that could cost me this opportunity. My chest heaved. After 8 years of waiting, it was finally time to execute the plan I already mapped out. It had taken all the self-control I had to keep from myself from storming off to the Monhal residence and unleashing my anger on them. Drew had fought against my will to stop me on several occasions. That's when I had begun to plan my revenge. When Verbeck found out that I had survived the attack, he would obviously be armed and ready, waiting for me to strike, as why vengeful man would. And that would not give me the satisfaction I craved from sweet, cold revenge. When years passed in silence, with no signs of the Selene pack barking up Jonas's door, they would start to relax, let their guard down. And that's when I would strike, when every memory of Nikolai Slade had been wiped from their minds. I had already made my personal investigation on Jonas and his family some years back. Surveying the entire territory, I had also drafted up a map of the residence as well. I couldn't risk my plans falling out of place by a flimsy loop we hadn't overseen, so I placed Stefan in charge of spying and gathering more information about them. From my research, I had discovered that Jonas had a favorite daughter whom he loved and cherished so much that he wouldn't trade for anything in the world. I knew my plan had to be something that would have such an impact on him that he would have many sleepless nights, which was why his daughter was the target. Running the plan through once more, I took out the crisp and now discolored map from the drawer and began to make some markings with a pen. I could recollect some things like the point where the main entrance stood and the secret passageway that led to Jonas's main chambers. The defense team situated at 3 points in the area, which used to be so tight some years back, when Jonas had expected me to barge in for revenge soon after my recovery. After 3 years, their defenses had started to loosen up. Eventually, it had become so free that Stefan was able to perpetrate whilst bringing back updates each time he returned. As I got up to ready myself for the mission, my eyes fell on the portrait of Elle on the wall. Instinctively, my fingers traced the scar on my chest, and for a moment, I couldn't help the vivid images from that day that suddenly began to swarm my mind. I shut my eyes tightly, my hand clutching my chest. "I won't fail you this time, Elle. I promise," I whispered, quickly wiping the tears that dropped from my eyes before anyone could see. The longer I stared at the portrait, the more fury bubbled in my chest. The scar in my chest throbbed, as if to remind me of my inability to protect the one I loved the most. reminding me of what I needed to do. I ran a hand through my hair in frustration. The time of vengeance was finally here.